Hello, everyone. We're trying this again, trying to have Tiffany join us. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, hi, Helena. Hi, Ashley. I'm just waiting for Tiffany. I don't even see her as watching. So weird. You're here again, Tiffany. You know, when there you go. Okay, I was getting ready to say when I searched for you, Tiffany, to try to add you, I didn't even see you, but so it's adding now. Yay!
Am I here?
Hi, how are you?
I'm frustrated. I'm so sorry.
No,
I feel like an old lady that couldn't get the technology right. You know those ladies?
No,
That's not me normally.
It happens. How are you? Your dimples make up for it.
Oh, thank you very, very much. You're sweet.
So can you, okay, so get adjusted, get set up maybe a little bit. Okay.
Sorry.
Taking us. There we
go. Does that work?
Yes.
You see me?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yay! It's good.
Super.
Yes, yes. And when you sit back, it's great. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy that you're doing this. Thanks for joining me and all of us to share. This is a little bit different because I don't know how many you've seen before. All the past T1D talks have been parents sharing their, tips or advice, obviously signs and symptoms leading up to the diagnosis of their child, what that diagnosis day was like, kind of when it came to a head. But this one is a little bit different.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Sure.
And I did watch the one with the little boy that was diagnosed Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Kind of shed some tears over that one.
I logged off and came down and sobbed in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was, it really got me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know this one is different. And I invited my mom and dad to watch. I didn't even talk to them about this, but I'm hoping if you see a Bill and Donna West log in.
Okay.
Because I thought, it's been a long time since they went through this process, but to them, it honestly and truly feels like, I'm sure, yesterday. So,
probably. Yes.
Do you want me to go ahead and start my story?
Yeah, I just would like you, because like I said, this is a little different, and I hope to have more of these, but where you're actually living type 1, but you were so young, you can just, if you want to go back to your earliest memories or what it was like. Obviously you're not going to remember. I believe I read you shared your story. Were you 16 months, something along?
I was 16 months old when my parents started noticing the same symptoms that the little boy had. I think that's what got me so much.
Probably.
The year was 1972 when I was born. I was diagnosed. When I started getting sick, I was 16 months old, and my parents were noticing my personality change was the biggest thing. My mom said I was a happy baby, and then I became hard to please. I was hungry all the time. I was losing weight, but eating all the time. I was thirsty. I would go through bottle after bottle and water, and I would go through, and this shows how old I am, guys, but cloth diapers. So,
yeah.
I would go through, she would put on 5 cloth diapers on me at night, and I would just soak the bed. And she took me to the doctor when I was 16 months old. And at that time, they had not seen a baby that young with it. They did blood work, and mom and dad are still not sure what happened, but the blood work came back fine. Like, they don't know if someone mixed up my blood work in the lab, or what happened. But my mom sort of arguing with the doctors and said, something is wrong with my baby and help me. And one of the doctors looked at her and said, ma'am, there is nothing wrong with your baby. And so mom, they took me home. And for 2 more months, I continued to do that. And I was 18
You're
months
saying
old.
10.
2, I'm sorry.
2 months.
2
Okay.
months. Mm-hmm. At 18 months old, I weighed 18 pounds. And my mom says I was just just bone. She said you were just lethargic, you were feeling horrible. And she took me to, at that time, let me back up. We lived in Benton, Arkansas. And she took me to a large doctor hospital in Little Rock. And that's who did the lab. And this time she took me to a doctor in a smaller town, an older doctor in Hot Springs, close to where she grew up. And the first thing he did was smell my breath and said, she is a juvenile diabetic. And I mean, without blood work, without anything. And if you know, I don't know, has that been brought up in your show before, is the breath?
No.
To this day.
I know that's considered a sign or symptom, but not yet, no.
To this day, though, I kind of struggle with my breath, and I do everything to keep my breath clean. Lots of Trident gum and whatnot. But anyway, so immediately they took me to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, which is still in practice in Memphis, Tennessee. And they did my blood work. I do not know my blood glucose when they took me there, but it was high. And they had seen younger diabetics. I've met one that's around my age that was diagnosed when he was 9 months old. I met, his name is Brick Smith. He was a friend of mine from Diabetic Camp. Let me plug in Diabetic Camp. If you have a child, of course, all of you do, that was the best thing my parents did for me every summer. I felt so normal. And honestly, I did not know another diabetic until I went to Diabetic Camp.
Yeah.
So my age, we knew some older ones, and since then we had met some in Benton, but when I first went, I didn't, and it was wonderful. And something I meant to start off with, and I didn't, but I cannot begin to, I'll probably start crying. I cry.
It's all right.
I cry over this a lot, but something, y'all are my heroes, really and truly.
Who is?
Mamas and daddies of type 1 diabetics. I've always known how wonderful my parents were, but I didn't truly understand until I became a mama.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works, though?
Oh, yeah. My mom always said, oh, baby, I hate to give you this shot, but I have to. And to this day, my parents I'm their baby. Yeah. And I will be 49 next month, which means I've had type 1 for 47 years.
Wow.
And they are incredible. And all of you are just wonderful. So keep doing what you're doing. And
thank you. We will. You
are making such a difference in your kids' lives. So now I forgot where I was, but
thank
I
you.
To say that.
That's very sweet of you. That's I can't believe you just said that. So thank you. No, because I feel like, you're amazing. So I appreciate that. The whole group appreciates that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'll go back a little bit after I was diagnosed. As I said, I lived in Benton, Arkansas, and my normal doctor and everything was in Little Rock, which was about 30 minutes away, but they did not have a pediatric endocrinologist. So we had to go to Memphis every 3 months. It was a 3-hour drive. And some of those were those trips were my favorite memories. I still remember having a wee jug.
Oh, did you
in the
really?
car. Yeah, because 3 hours, and we usually left real early and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, and seeing the big sign, if any of you have traveled from Memphis to Little Rock, you see the big sign that says "Welcome to Arkansas." I saw it the other day, and literally just so many memories. And Le Bonheur is a special place. My husband ran the St. Jude half marathon one year, and as he passed Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, he took a picture of it and sent it to me.
That's so nice.
I went every 3 months until I was 9 years old. So at that point, Arkansas Children's Hospital, my phone's going. Arkansas Children's Hospital hired a pediatric endocrinologist who was awesome. His name was Robert Pfizer, and he has since passed away, but he was a great, great doctor and helped my parents so very much. And that really, the year I turned 9 was 9. I'm from the South. Y'all can understand. I said 9. The year I turned 9 was a pretty amazing year for me. I have one of my close friends that I went to school with, whose mom was my first grade teacher. And as a mom, y'all can think about this. My mom sent me to kindergarten. We have half-day kindergarten then. I had never had a babysitter.
Yeah.
I had honestly never been away from her.
Right.
And there were no aides. There were no 504 plans. There was not even a school nurse at that time.
I cannot
imagine that. Can you imagine?
No.
And
no.
I was a kindergarten teacher for a long time, and I used to just think about my mom having to drop me off at kindergarten, and she probably sat in her car. I would not doubt that. Probably sat in her car thinking about it. But then I went into first grade and had an amazing teacher who was so kind, and she contacted mom quite frequently and had a great first grade year. And her daughter became one of my good friends. In fact, we're still friends on Facebook now.
Oh, that's awesome.
But when I was 9, she brought me my first Diet Coke. And before that, Tab was the only drink that, and sugar-free Kool-Aid, and mom added some liquid sweet and low, but there were no sugar-free drinks in restaurants. I drank water most of the time.
Wow.
Nothing sugar-free, but that was my first experience of that. In fact, when we went out to eat, I had divided plates with a lid on it, and my mom would take my meal. And we had diabetic exchanges back then. I didn't get to count carbohydrates and give extra insulin, but I started off on 1 insulin shot a day at night, and that would last all day. I took NPH insulin, and I'm sharing this stuff with y'all just to show.
No, this is fascinating. This is fascinating.
Oh, okay. I hope it's okay.
No,
because it's
just of course.
Amazing how technology and things have changed. It also, when I was 9 years old, I was able to get my first blood glucose machine.
Oh.
And it was the size of a laptop.
Wow.
It took 5 minutes to check my sugar, and I had to. I saw someone the other day posted a little contraption. Someone called it like a
saw
guillotine.
that. It was blue.
And
I'm trying to remember who that was. Yeah.
And the lancet went from up here to down here. And amazingly, I loved that thing because my mom didn't have to prick me with the little needle. And when we went to the doctor's office, I took that everywhere I went because I did not want those nurses jabbing me. Oh, it hurt, and your fingers hurt for so long. But the new prickers are amazing, and they came out probably when I was 15 or 16.
Okay.
They were really good, but you had to rinse the blood strip where you put this large amount of blood on it. So you waited 5 minutes, you rinsed it, you dabbed it, and then you put it in the machine, and it would tell you your blood sugar. But we could only do it probably once or twice a day, twice at the most, because it was so expensive. Those strips were like $2 and $3 a piece or something. I mean, I'm crazy.
Sitting here thinking, your parents, like, what about the middle of the night? How in the world?
How did they do? Okay, before my blood glucose machine, they caught my urine. We would test my urine, which is not up to date. We had a little test tube, and we would put five drops of my urine in this little Clinitest tablet, and it would go in the test tube, and whatever color it was what your urine was, which is not up to date. It could be my urine from this morning, and here it is at night. But that was the best we had, and we wrote those colors down and took to the doctor, and that's what we used until the blood glucose machine at 9. So
Wow.
yes, my parents at night, I slept in the same room with them.
Oh yeah.
I had a little bed on the end of their bed.
Wow.
And my mom literally could hear me breathing and know if I was high or low.
Wow.
She would say, "Tiffany, you sound like a freight train. I know you're high."
This is triggering me. I don't know why.
Oh, it does me too. You can see how my mom and dad are amazing. God bless me with the, not everyone can do that.
I'm so sorry. I just, yeah, this is a trigger for me, and because you know.
Well, you're going through it.
I mean, I walked in.
Cassie
was sleeping this morning, and she was 105 at 5 a.m., which is fine. But she had been running high over the past few days. So I went in there, and, that Dexcom, it's great technology. I mean, hey, but sometimes if it's 20 or points off, if it's telling you she's 100, she could really be 80, maybe you need to kind of step in. So I wanted to avoid that. So I went in there, and I said, Cassie, are you okay? Or do you feel okay or whatever? And she was talking in her sleep. She said, okay, fine. I guess I won't get the rug. And I thought, okay, are you low or are you talking in your sleep? So
what was it?
She was talking in her sleep. She was fine. She was right where 105, I think. She was perfect. So to hear you share that your mom had to listen for you to breathe.
And I remember we built a house, and I was 6 when we moved in, and my dad installed intercoms in the 70s. I remember this is the 70s. But she could listen to me from my room to her room, and I got to sleep in my own bed. And
what a big deal for you too. Yeah.
It was a big deal, but she still always listened to me breathing, and that is how she knew. And at that time, the doctors did not recommend you giving extra shots. I had one a day, and I had to eat those exchanges, and I couldn't eat anything extra and get a shot. And for this may true, for my second birthday, remember I was 18 months old.
Yeah.
And so for my first birthday party, they couldn't give shots. So the doctor told her to give me a cheese birthday cake. It kind of looks like those little cheese with the red wrapper around it, and
it has the hard outer shell.
Yes, yeah. yes. But let me tell you what she did. She dressed that thing up, and she dressed up like a clown, and I had the best birthday party with all the kids in the neighborhood. It was wonderful. But as a mama, sometimes it just gets me to think what they went through. So, and later I did have birthday cakes. They finally realized I had to live somewhat of a life, but at that age, it was very hard to know what my sugars were, and tried everything to keep me exactly like I was. So,
in a weird way, though, I think all of us, all the parents, all the newbies, and all the parents with, younger children, I think this is exactly what we need to hear.
Part of my story is that I retired from teaching. I'm healthy, but after 47 years with the disease, your body starts to not be perfect like you think it is, and so I needed to retire, and part of what I want to do is tell my story.
Yeah.
Because I've been there and I've lived with this, and I want to encourage people that it is a hard thing to live with, but something that my dad always told me. And if I ever had a pity party, he would say, Tiffany, you have a pity party, which was hard on them. It was just as hard on them, I know, but they didn't show that to me. When I would run from my mom and dad and hide in the curtains to keep from getting a shot because it hurt. Some of y'all have probably been there. I mean,
Yep.
That is what they lived with. But my dad was always so encouraging and always told me, Tiffany, you are so blessed.
Yeah.
You are healthy, and you can walk down that road. No one knows that you have this issue. You can make a difference in life. You stay positive, and you think about how good you have it, because it could always be worse. You could be in a wheelchair. You could not breathe. You can walk. You can talk. You can breathe. And if I ever had my pity parties, which I did, that is what I focused on. And truly, they never, ever, they made me feel as normal as I could. They never let me, I never used, I never, and I can honestly say that my husband, he was with me the first time I had this. Sorry.
It's okay.
He was with me the first time I had to say I couldn't do something because of my diabetes, and it killed me. It just killed me, because my whole life I never used that as an excuse. And I went to work when I felt horrible. I never ever called in for diabetes, and I look back now and I should have, but I was so stubborn and determined that I was gonna live as normal as I could.
I think you were trying to prove it, probably maybe to yourself.
Yes, probably so. And you know, I've been to a few counseling sessions as in the last couple of years, and the doctor did share with me that what my life has, what I've lived through, was traumatic.
Yeah.
And I have an issue with kind of control, and
I can see that. Yeah.
Part of that is because my whole life I've been trying to get something in control that is so hard to control.
Right.
So if there was one thing that and I've told a couple of people this, maybe a few counseling sessions throughout, especially the teenage years or the younger adult years, to just deal with the trauma that they go through. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's a horrible thing. Y'all can see I am a happy person.
Yeah.
Anyone that was around me growing up, I did not focus on this. I did everything I tried to do everything I was supposed to. Of course, I cheated on my diet, but
you are human.
That's the main thing. Try to let them live as normal a life as possible. And I tell you, with the technology available today, oh my word. When I was in high school, Humulin insulin came out. That was another big thing. And by that time I think I started 2 shots a day when I was 7. I gave my first shot when I was 7, practiced on an orange. Wow. They didn't have the bears. I'm now a JDRF volunteer, and I'm starting to go visit some patients that are newly diagnosed. I'm so excited about that.
That's great.
Another big thing is when I was, are we okay on time?
You're totally fine. Yes.
Okay.
There's no time. Yeah. No, you.
Okay.
You are.
And if I need to hush about something, you tell me to just go on.
No, you're fine.
When I was a junior in high school, Steel Magnolias came out.
I haven't seen that.
You don't.
I haven't seen that. I don't remember how. I remember it, but I was younger, and that wouldn't have. I wouldn't have, that would have been
Wouldn't have
something
made
that I
the
wouldn't have
connection.
seeked to, yeah.
Right. And I literally had to leave the movie theater. It upset me so bad. And at that time, they it's a true story. Um, and I did the lady, her Shelby was her name. Her brother actually wrote the movie about his sister. And later in my story, I'll share something. I got to meet a nurse that worked with Shelby in Shreveport. And
that's awesome.
that
You
was,
have to come back on. We'll do another live. You can come on as many times as you want.
you're sweet. You are sweet. But when I was 21, I had finished college. I was a high school and college cheerleader. I played in the band. I played basketball.
Wow.
Took gymnastics. As I said, I mean, I did everything that I could do. And I went to college. As I said, I was a cheerleader and was in a sorority or social group at this private school. And I met my husband, and we dated all through college. And when we married, we moved to Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where he was from, and he had a job. So we went there, and I found a new endocrinologist. I left my pediatric one, which was very hard.
I've heard that's tough. I've heard that's a hard transition.
It is. It is. We had relied on him for so long, but we made the transition, and she was wonderful. And the first visit I was with, she asked me about having babies, and of course I started crying. I said, "Well, of course, yes, but I watched Steel Magnolias, and I don't think that's possible." And when at that point, when I was 21, I'd already had it so long that's usually the age where people started getting having serious problems. But thanks to God and my parents who took such good.
You froze. Can you see me? Tiffany, you froze. I don't know if anybody else can see. It froze. I hope you come back. I don't know if you can see or hear, but Tiffany, you're just on the screen frozen. Is everybody still there? Oh, she's gone. Wow. That was, what did you guys think of that T1D talk? Clearly she didn't mean to leave us. I'm not sure what happened. She's frozen, yeah. All right, well, we're going to have her back. I'm going to conclude this T1D talk. We have to definitely schedule her to come back. I have so many questions for her, and she was nowhere near finished sharing with us. So I really appreciate everybody joining, and I'm going to reach out to her after I conclude this. And thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tiffany. And I'm going to message you. I'm not sure what happened, but she's messaging me now. All right, guys, have a good night. Have one for Thursday. Another T1D talk for Thursday. Thanks. Share, please. Even though she froze and it ended early, just share.